Yes, the MMA After Hour time. It's when we let our hairs down, our collective hairs. And this is when we get all crazy. This is when we check in with all of you. This is when we check in with New York Rick. And so without further ado, let's see what's on the new daddy's mind. It is time, my friends. It is time for...
And now it's time to
yes.
open up your ears and your minds.
Yes, open it up.
It's time for Rick's Picks.
Rick's Picks.
Rick's Picks are lots of
yes.
fun. And his hair is in a bun, because it's... You already know what it is.
Rico Verhoeven also returning to action this weekend. Glory pay-per-view. How about that Nate Diaz tweet? Is that going to make Rick's Picks? I wonder. Tiffany Time Bomb lost. I'm still looking for my Fedor, by the way. Here he is. Rick's Picks. The new daddy.
Oh, hello.
2 weeks in.
Not exactly.
Almost
10 days.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Well, we're on week 2.
We're on week 2.
Any change? Any surprises? Any curveballs?
Not curveballs that would throw me off. More just things that are happening faster than I thought they would.
Okay.
Her neck is very strong. Her grip is very strong. She's without very much tummy time. She's kind of pushing up and being, where I would think that it would take a little bit longer for most babies. So
you're saying she's a prodigy child.
It could be.
Wow.
It could be.
How about that? Avery. Slaying it.
Yeah, she's strong.
How's the poop?
Delicious.
Is it still honey mustard like?
It is, yeah. We're still in that territory.
Has she shed the thing on the belly button?
Yesterday night.
Wow.
Again, beating expectations.
Really?
They said week 1 through 3 somewhere. She's 10 days in. And
chill out on that one. That one, I feel like we're exaggerating a bit. I've averaged a week on those.
Oh, really?
What'd you do with it?
Trash can.
Really? We ate it. Put it in some stew. You're supposed to eat that.
I've heard of eating the placenta.
Yeah. Did you do that?
I did not. I saw the placenta.
One of the grossest ideas that I've ever come across in my life.
I passed on that one. Hard pass.
Did anyone eat that?
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
It went into a bin.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that whoever took care of that bin did not eat it.
Okay. We have a lot to discuss, my friend.
We do.
Okay, so let's get to it. What do you got for us?
Let's roll into Rick's Picks.
Okay.
We're going to start this week with some imagery. We'll call this the section imagery from UFC 218. We're starting here. Imagery. A tweet from Danny Segura, which was a tweet from Portal DOVT. Here, Yancy Medeiros and Alex Oliveira in the hospital after their bout, reminiscent of Gustafsson and Jones and all the other 2 fighters together in the hospital pictures. But after the war they put on, good to see these guys kind of rubbing shoulders and paying respect to each other. I'm going to maybe put out a controversial opinion and say it's not my fight of the year.
Okay.
But it's in the top 3 for sure. But
what is number 1 right now?
I still have to give it to Gaethje and Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's still my fight of the year.
Okay.
With this being a close second, it just the stakes for that felt so much bigger, and the swings felt a little bit bigger. This one, the comeback was great because it seemed like Yancy was on the losing end of it. But Oliveira was gassing out, and it seemed like it was inevitable as long as Yancy could withstand the storm, which he did, because he's super, super tough. But it's probably number 2 in my pick, and number 1 still being Gaethje Johnson.
Reminiscent, by the way, that photo of the Alexander Gustafsson John Jones photo. Remember that?
I only said that 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, I just wanted to. We had a lot of Skype guests today, and I've been catching up on things, so I just wanted to make sure people heard that.
Well, they've heard it twice.
Okay,
now,
well, what was better?
Yeah.
Which fight was better, that one or the Eddie Alvarez Justin Gaethje fight?
This fight.
Okay.
But the thing that was great about that one, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, the thing that was great about Alvarez and Gaethje is that the expectations were higher. This fight on paper, you look at it and you say, these are 2 action fighters, you can expect a good fight. But everybody was talking about Gaethje Alvarez like, it was the fight of all fights, the all-time greatest fight. And it delivered. I don't know if it hit, this territory where we'll talk about it for the ages, but it definitely met expectations, if not exceeded them slightly. So it's hard. It's very hard to kind of do that, and those two went in and did it. So hard to be mad at anybody who's picking one of those fights. And UFC, in giving out their bonuses, pick both for fight of the night. No performance bonuses, but fight of the night.
Yep.
For both fights. So good to see this camaraderie between these two opponents who put on an all-timer. Next, a photo from our very own Esther Lynn with little bird emojis. Courtney Casey flipping the bird to Felice Herrig. There's another photo. This system only lets me use one. There's another photo of Felice returning the favor.
Yes.
Both captured by Esther Lynn. As I'm going through these, one thing I want to mention.
Please.
Give proper credit to photographers. Give proper credit to artists. Give proper credit to everybody. If you're going to repurpose or you're going to reuse their materials on the internet, in blog posts, whatever it is, don't crop out the watermarks.
That's the worst.
Don't, post it without using their name. Give people proper credit.
Why do people not want to do this?
Look, the watermark is something that is meant to be obtrusive. It's something that's meant to be, hey, this is our material. This is going to prevent, or, attempt to prevent you from using it without it. Don't crop it out.
Ugh.
It's there for a reason.
Nothing worse.
Give proper credit. In this case, I'm highlighting a photo by Esther Lynn. Next, we'll see another photo here by the UFC. I believe Hedges took this one. Francis Ngannou with the incredible knockout punch of Alistair Overeem. I mean, the photo says it all. This one got passed around quite a bit, and part of the reason I'm mentioning this, let's give proper credit where it's due. But an absolutely insane knockout. My new front runner, whereas I said fight of the year still stayed with Gaethje and Johnson, this is my new front runner for knockout of the year.
Oh, yeah.
In a year that's been loaded with some fantastic knockouts, probably the cleanest and the most devastating. This is my front runner.
The way his head
knockout of the year.
back there was just.
I mean, the photo is perfect. It just says everything that needs to be said about how that fight went.
Unbelievable. By the way,
yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment on not cropping photos and not giving credit. Another thing that bothers me is in this day and age, like people tell me all the time, like, oh, I'll just stream that movie or download torrent or whatever they call it. I hate that stuff. Music, videos, anything that's created creatively, artists, things like that, I will pay for everything. And you're talking about something that's free. I mean, this is just someone going out of their way.
This is the lowest bar.
Not to give credit to an artist is pretty despicable in my opinion. But I am happy to pay for every film, every song, anything. I will gladly pay for that because I think that these people need to be, they need to be supported. So yes.
Agreed. And this image, credit unknown, but from Stipe Miocic, responding to
I love it.
Saturday's fight. Quite simply, a photo of Stipe laughing with the belt in front of him, saying "and still." Subtle, well done, top-notch tweeting, in my opinion.
Can I just say something about that before? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, go to the response here.
I just want to quickly, this happened, as the show was on, Francis Ngannou quote tweeting and saying, "Enjoy the belt while you can and say your farewell before your next fight. #NNew." Francis very quick on the social media.
Francis the man. Wait, are you saying that he's not the one writing the tweets? Is that what you're implying?
No, I literally said Francis quick on the social media.
I don't know if that was tongue in cheek. I will admit that at times it feels like there's a bit of a malaise. It feels like, oh my God, there's so much MMA. There's an oversaturation. When I think of Francis Ngannou and Stipe Miocic in the same cage, staring at each other, I get like a weird tingly sensation inside. Like that to me is, one of the best fights that the UFC could put on for 2018, but it's like the quintessential heavyweight championship fight. That is what we love about the heavyweight division. That is what we want. Two big men who knock people out, going toe to toe. You don't know whose head is going to get knocked off their head, but you just know that something is going to happen.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that is the excitement kind of surrounding Francis, but also the unknown. Stipe has been here and done this and proven himself and earned his stripes and gone through the ups and downs, and is now champion and soon to be setting heavyweight records if he can continue this. Whereas Francis, he's steamrolled people, but a lot of times that doesn't, in doing so, you don't see a lot of the other aspects of his game. There's still a lot of unknowns about Francis. There's still a lot of things that we don't know how he'll be able to deal with Stipe because he's been so successful, because he's been steamrolling. I think that intrigue is adding to this fight. The fact that we know that he carries huge power and could end this violently and quickly. At the same time, we don't know what else is going to happen. If Stipe is able to drag him into deep waters, what happens then? I think there's a lot of things still to be seen, and I think we will see them in that fight, and that's why I'm excited.
They got to get it done. I'd love it if it's on that Boston card. I mean, the heavyweight and the light heavyweight title being defended on the same night would be incredible. I know it's the question of the day, but since we're talking right now, who do you have winning that fight?
Oh my Lord!
Come on, putting you on the spot. Like who are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards Stipe, but I don't know.
For real?
I mean, I'm leaning towards Stipe.
Wow.
I mean, as I said, like it's hard. I don't like to, when I'm picking a fight, I don't like to lean on somebody with question marks.
Okay.
And while Francis has been impressive, I still have questions about him.
Which are?
I haven't seen the complete package. He's been able to just steamroll everybody. It's hard for me to be confident against a fighter as complete and as veteran as Stipe to be favoring a newcomer who, make no doubt about it, carries huge power, and I don't doubt that if he's able to connect, he will hurt Stipe. But at the same time, what if Stipe hits him clean? We haven't seen enough evidence for me to pick against Stipe at this point, and I think that's where I'm at. But if you're asking me if Francis comes in there and can land a punch, would I be surprised? Absolutely not. The guy is a freak, and clearly the power is not something that's happening because of opponent or anything like that. He has huge power, second only to our very own Casey Layton.
Yeah, that's right.
But I would lean Stipe. Is where I'd go. It's
no line yet, right?
I'm excited for it. I think there probably is. Let's take a look real quick.
I feel like not. Usually I get an email about that.
They go up on futures pretty quick, but let's see. No, I don't see one here. So I'd be interested to see where that falls. I wouldn't be surprised if Francis is the favorite.
Really?
Well, that power is exciting, and these betting lines again are not always indicative or reflective of perceived winning, and more trying to get even money on both sides of the line. So if they're expecting a lot of people to be betting on Francis because of that power, because of that excitement, the line could be shifted in that direction. So I wouldn't be surprised he was a favorite over Overeem. I would not be surprised, but in my opinion, you have to respect the champ at this point, and that's who I would ultimately favor in this matchup for the moment. Okay, moving along with Rick's picks. One more image from UFC 218, a Photoshop here by our friend Secret Moves MMA, Justin. The Eddie Alvarez as Popeye Photoshop. Love this because of the swollen mouth.
Is this disrespectful?
Absolutely not. Come on, this is all in good fun. What?
I mean...
What? Oh, come on! Make your case, please. Make your case.
I just feel like the guy was in a fight. He's got a messed up face. I mean, why are we making light of it? I love Justin, but I'm just no. Why? Okay, wait. Are you in favor of the Overeem photoshops?
That's not the same. And also, it's kind of fair game. Like, that's the internet. Like,
I'm just saying, let's respect our fighters. They go in there for our entertainment. No.
This is so sanctimonious.
It's not sanctimonious.
Come on.
What, you see me?
This is in good fun. This is in good fun.
Does it have to happen? No. What? What are you talking about?
It's not the same. Well, first of all, like, come on. I'm honestly, I'm okay with the Overeem photoshops. It's kind of become a reality of internet culture and specifically sports culture in particular. Sports culture is all about that. But there's a difference between a guy who's knocked unconscious and a guy who has a swollen mouth. This is not some debilitating thing, and it's not him at his lowest moment, he won the fight. He's got a puffed up lip. I think it's all in good fun.
It's not something I would do.
We differ on this. I think it's funny. And also, he's glorifying it. He's glorifying Eddie. He's saying he's been notified of an anti-doping violation for elevated levels of spinach. He's big-upping Eddie with the Popeye-like effort, taking his spinach and dishing it out. But okay, fair enough. We differ on it. The like humming, the sing-songy hum. Okay. Here we go. We'll go to something lighter. You'll like this. How about this from Angela Hill recording
Look at that.
Mini Holloway,
Incredible, this kid.
a.k.a. Rush,
Look at him.
getting into the dab. Boom.
Boom.
Angela loving it. Getting into the dab.
What's great about it is he's ambidextrous. Left, right,
He's
right.
hitting dabs on both sides.
He's incredible.
Rogan and Anna kind of just doing their
By
spot.
the way, how about the fact that he went there for the first fight, this kid?
Yeah, demanded. Took the nap in between. Now, missed the best fight.
Missed the best fight.
But, we got to give him the respect for breaking out the dab and breaking out in the post-fight press conference.
Unbelievable.
Shout out to Rush.
Who invented
Mini
the dab?
bless. Some dancer.
Gotta look that up.
I'm sure there's a Wikipedia entry on it.
It just seems like it's one of those things that, it's not new, obviously, right?
No.
Who invented
Few years old.
the dab? Has its origins in the Atlanta hip hop scene in the 2010s, but there was initially disagreement about who originated the dance. Artists initially mentioned as possible originators included Migos, as in Look at My Dab, Skippa the Flippa, Pee Wee Longway, Jose Guapo, and of course the great Rich the Kid.
How many of those albums do you have?
I have all of them except for Skippa the Flippa.
Oh, man.
In the U.S., Cam Newton, the starting quarterback for the 2015 Carolina Panthers,
kind of popularized it a little bit. Yeah.
has been at the forefront of the spreading dab sensation. The invention of the dab has been credited to Migos, a rap group from Atlanta, who have in turn crowned Newton as the dab daddy.
I would love if we got like a golf voice style narration and talking about the different
Dabs.
dance moves and things that come out of the city in the next UFC weigh-in. I'd like to know about the
for me
dance moves. Yeah.
Well, forever in Atlanta, we had some good ones in Detroit. Did you know that Detroit is the potato chip capital of the world? And what I mean by that, no city in America consumes more potato chips per year than the great city of Detroit. Did you know that? Did you also know that ginger ale was invented in Detroit? And did you know that Detroit is a French term, Detroit, the straight?
That one I did know. But the other ones I did not.
I had tons.
Potato chips and ginger ale, you could do
What
worse.
I want to know is, how do they even, measure that? Like, how do they measure how many potato chips are consumed in a year,
Well, if you track the supermarket purchases of chips,
Jeez.
You can probably
Tough.
put it together. Okay.
Can I just say one more thing about the dab? In Saudi Arabia, the move was made illegal by the National Committee for Drug Control, as it was deemed that it, quote, alludes to weed and other illegal substances. In August of 2017, Saudi singer and actor Abdallah al-Shahrani was arrested for performing the move at a music festival. How about that?
Hopefully he's free now. Free him.
Wow.
Not a fan of that. Okay.
That's from Complex, by the way.
Let's move on to very serious matters here.
Oh, there it is.
Conor McGregor.
I thought it really was.
Tweeting, I missed those sunglasses. Pictured here, you'll see in the back. Now, I think you alluded to some black eyes.
Yeah. No?
Conor McGregor in the back of this picture, wearing sunglasses. Also in this picture, Danny Rubenstein,
Yes.
but unrelated to
Danny Rubenstein, the Forrest Gump of MMA. The guy's in every single moment.
I have to admit, I talked to him about the boomerang, thing. He was just oblivious to it, had nothing good for me. I'm sure he has no recollection of this moment and doesn't care at all. But in the back, Conor McGregor with his suit, dethroned hat, and sunglasses.
I thought he was making a joke about the sunglasses. Did you get that right away?
Yeah, because I see him on the screen.
I saw him too.
There.
Oh my God.
The joke is he's in the background of this picture, doesn't care, doesn't really give a shit about the sunglasses. Wanted to highlight the forefront. Brilliant. Okay. Just brilliant tweet.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So I just said earlier that I felt like this signified renewed interest in fighting him. Given this interpretation of the photo, do you now feel like I'm wrong? Is he saying to everyone, I couldn't care less about this guy?
I think he would, if he couldn't care less about the guy, he wouldn't address him. That's his way. This posting of any kind signifies interest.
How did I miss that?
He would not care at all. He would not post about him if there wasn't something.
Right.
And we see the reply from Max that you mentioned.
That one I got.
Max Holloway, this one's hard to ignore. Missed the sunglasses. I bet you also missed 2015, brother. Retired fighters love the past. Featherweight champion Max Holloway posting upgrades for 2017. Hashtag blessed era. Hashtag 2015 champ. I think that part's underrated. The hashtag 2015 champ is pretty funny.
Can I ask you a question about that picture though?
Yeah.
That feels like it looks like an official like UFC picture, right? With like the logo there and the writing. They didn't actually tweet that, right?
No, this is Photoshop.
He made it.
Good Photoshop.
That is really good Photoshop.
Listen.
Just want to say.
I'm telling you, the Photoshop, look, it's all fair game on the internet. I love the Photoshops.
Can I say what I loved about Max's reply? He didn't take that as like, oh, let's fight and prove it. He was just like, retired fighter. I'm not going to really engage. I'm going to respond, but I'm not going to use this as an opportunity to try to pick a fight with you.
Yeah.
He never takes the bait.
Well, I think Max probably understands that this fight would be great, and if it can happen, he is up for it. It seems like he's taking on anybody. He's not really trying to pick and choose his opponents. Obviously, he took a fight against Jose Aldo on short notice, and kudos to him for that. As I said, leading into it, if he beats Jose Aldo twice, I think that is a legacy definer. That is something that is hard to ignore. Probably my fighter of the year at this point. But if it happens, I'm sure he'd welcome it. But his eye is on people who are still fighting at the moment. And with 1,039 significant strikes landed, 8 knockdowns, 8 stoppages, 6 knockouts, 13 wins, 11 in a row at featherweight, it's hard to argue that anybody.
Here's the thing about Conor that I will say.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him come back. I'd love nothing more than to see him come back. I feel like I was accused of being on the bandwagon way before there was even a bandwagon as far as his UFC run is concerned. I'm a big believer. I think he's one of the very best. I want to see him defend that title. Conversely, like look at Saturday. Eddie Alvarez, Max Holloway, the big winners. He has wins over them. Look, a couple weeks ago, Dustin Poirier, wins over him. Look at main event. Jose Aldo, wins over him. Like, can we at least acknowledge, regardless of what happens from this point forward, and really, I mean, he should have defended the featherweight title. Hopefully he defends the lightweight title sooner rather than later. That was a pretty damn good run. And I really felt like he never got the respect that he deserved. I really always felt like, did he fight Max before he was Max Holloway? Sure, maybe. But he still fought him on a month's notice, and he still fought Chad Mendes on 2 weeks' notice. And he still beat Dustin Poirier, and he still beat Jose Aldo. I mean, like he's still, I mean, look at Eddie Alvarez, how good he looks now. And look what he did to him in that fight. It's just amazing how it all seems to come back to him. And you're like, oh yeah, he did fight that guy. Like he did fight everyone up until this point. And so this idea that like he's afraid to fight or he's afraid to lose or he's afraid to defend his title. No, I think we have to separate, now the businessman who's just trying to pick his spot and do the best thing possible. Now, you look at the last week, I mean, I think some people were confused because there was that story that he got into some, barroom brawl, and then he was at court. The two had nothing to do with each other. I think people were a little bit confused about that. And so let's see if he's able to, kind of get back on track. And if they can come to turn, they're talking about a new deal. We knew that this time was coming, right? We knew after he made $100 million against Floyd that he wouldn't go back to his old contract. So we knew this was coming. Now let's see if they can actually get it done.
2 things. One, Conor McGregor's resume at featherweight is not one to criticize. The guy has fought a who's who and done very, very well against them. Two, it makes it an easier pill to swallow with McGregor out because Holloway is so dominant and because he's here taking on all comers. It almost, if there wasn't this champion in place, if there wasn't somebody like Holloway here, it would make it a little more difficult for Conor to be on the sidelines and saying, or not, actually saying literally, but looking for that fight and taking his time to negotiate and doing all those things. With Max holding the title and keeping that division in good hands, it's less of an issue for Conor to kind of do this and utilize his leverage and find out what's the best opportunity for
him. The big news last week as it pertains to Conor was Dana White saying, I don't know if he's going to fight again. You got $100 million in the bank. It's hard to get up and get punched in the face. And what I'll say to that is, first of all, you don't have $100 million in the bank. There's taxes, there's all kinds of expenses. So you really don't have $100 million in the bank. The guy's 29 years old. What do you expect him to do? You know what I mean? Like, he's going to go through that $100 million pretty darn quickly. I mean, the life.
Conor, no way.
Like this idea, he's got $100 million, so he never has to fight again. The guy's talked about wanting to be a billionaire. He's not even close to being a billionaire. What are you talking about? $100 million is going to deter him from fighting again. But more importantly, am I the only one, while listening to Dana White talk about that, was I the only one who thought, is Dana White talking about himself? Dana White has way more than $100 million in the bank. Dana White is still doing what he was doing before he had $100 million in the bank, before he had $400 million in the bank. Dana White's talking about getting punched in the face and that making it less, being less motivated to keep doing what you were doing before you had the $100 million. Well, he doesn't actually literally get punched in the face, but I'll tell you what, Sajara Eubanks pulling out on 24 hours notice, that's a kind of punch in the face. This guy pulling out, John Jones, this, that, and the other thing, those are punches in the face. Those are different kinds of punches in the face. And I couldn't help but feel like he was talking about himself. And then when he transitions over to I'm going to go into boxing, that's a man who's looking for motivation. That's a man who's looking for a new fight. He's looking for a new race to run. And so I just couldn't help but feel like he was kind of talking about himself when he was saying that.
Possible, and who would know if that is something that he's feeling.
I wish someone asked that follow-up.
He can identify possibly with Conor, but
Conor doesn't have enough. Conor wants to fight. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt in my mind. That's all he wants to do. He wants to fight. He doesn't want to be an actor. He doesn't want to be a singer. He doesn't want to be a rapper. He wants to fight. Now it's about making the deal that that makes the most amount of sense. By the way, I also love the line "Oh yeah, I'd love to work with Anthony Joshua. I think he could be a big star." That's like Lou DiBella sitting and saying, you know who I'd love to work with? I want to go into MMA and I want to work with this Conor McGregor guy. I really feel like he could be a big star, this Conor McGregor guy. Anthony Joshua is selling out 80,000 seat stadiums in Europe. I don't think he needs anyone at this point to kind of help him take that next step. You get what I'm saying?
Sure. Okay. A fan here on Twitter.
Oh yeah, this guy's the man.
Posted, to any fans of Jose Aldo /MMA, after his loss, I waited in the fighter's hotel afterwards without much expectation, knowing he must be devastated. He, in this case being Aldo. When he saw me, he hugged and embraced me, thanked me, talked and stood for pictures. One of the greatest fighters ever, an even greater man. How about Jose Aldo? Obviously a tough loss for him, second in a row to Max Holloway. Making time for a fan who's just waiting around at the hotel, hoping to get a glimpse of one of his favorite fighters, and doing the damn thing, taking the photo with him, being gracious with his time, like a champion would.
The most decorated champion of all time as far as 145 is concerned. And I don't want to hear anyone say that he's done, that he should retire. He's 31. He is 31 years old. 30 freaking 1 years old. Take a break, reassess, maybe no more 145. He did not look great. He was kneeling over. Maybe finally do the 155 thing. But 13 seconds isn't going to define Jose Aldo. He's a legend. He put that division on the map. He carried that division for years. He kept it relevant for years. Unfortunately, he is slowing down. I do think Max is better than him. I do think Max would beat him if they fought again for a third time. But he's 31. He's still 31. It's still kind of surreal to see him get beat up and bloodied like that because he's still Jose Aldo in my mind. It
will happen as he does get older in his career. But I think he had his moments in this fight, and it was clear that Max Holloway has his number. and that wasn't going to be good enough once again. But more importantly, still carrying himself like a champion, doing this for this fan, which is nice to see. We return to Conor McGregor for a moment, only because, I mean, these kind of photos have become regular for Conor McGregor. This one most interesting to me because I believe that the paper is upside down. I can't confirm that on the other side of this, that the text is not right side up. Somebody tell me about this newspaper and tell me if the pages are different like that, or maybe he took this page.
I think that it's on purpose.
And it's actually not folded over.
It's him saying, look, because he's on the paper. You see him?
Yeah.
That's him. So it's like, look, you're talking about me, but I don't give an F. Don't read the paper, make the paper.
Could be.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
It's very clear what it is. I don't give a crap about what you say about me. You're talking about me. I'm on your paper. There's my face, but I don't give a crap. I'm not even paying attention. Don't read the paper,
I'd like somebody to confirm that for me.
What do you mean? What newspaper is upside down? What are you talking about?
But see, here's what I'm looking at. If you look at it closely, the first page looks like it's not connected to the back page, meaning that it's not a full paper.
Well, all you have to do is zoom in on the left side there.
Yeah, well, I can't zoom on this, but what I'm looking at that and thinking that maybe he took off the cover part, and then when he put it back together,
I feel like
he put it back upside down.
I don't know.
Possibly. I'm not reading that much into it, but I'd like to hear the story. Somebody tell me. Somebody figure out.
And
what's
also, the
going on
headline is something like, it's something asking a question about him.
It says, "Can Conor buy something?" Who knows? But it's asking about Conor.
Mm. Wait, I know what it is. Because our friend Yogurty Fogarty, he was asking for credit about the photo. Can Conor live happily ever after? He actually tweeted a better photo of that in the foreground and Conor in the background.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good question. But maybe Dave can give us some insight into
Only
that.
if you credit
Was it
him.
intentional? And we'll credit you. Funny reply here from Matthew Wells regarding the Max Holloway Conor McGregor
Yes, of
photo.
course I know
earlier.
it's Shane Victorino, former Philadelphia
No, that's
Philly.
the joke though. That's funny.
Oh.
That like honestly everybody's looking at everything else in this photo. But it's literally like this photo was about Max and Shane Victorino. But it's become highlighted for anything else. Anyway, you asked if this would be here. Guess what? It is here. Nate Diaz responding to Dana White.
Started hearing Woodley saying, "I got offered a fight with Nate Diaz," and then we're like, "No, there was never a fight. That's the deal." So there really was never an offer for Woodley versus Diaz. It's not true. Not officially. Not officially. It was never offered. One of our lawyers was like, "Hey, would you fight?" Because we're always offering the Diaz brothers a fight. So he says, "Well, what about Woodley? Would you fight Woodley?" And then he says to Woodley, "Would you fight Nate Diaz?" Nate Diaz. First of all, Woodley's been talking about, "I need shoulder surgery. What about, I'll fight Nate Diaz," and then starts calling him out and shit. It was a nightmare. None of that was true. That was just a guy who works here that went off the reservation and asked those guys a question. Do you think Diaz will...
Nate saying
This is funny.
that's not true, and then posting an older clip of when he and Dana were, I believe they were in Stockton, right? This was when Dana came to visit?
I'm pretty sure that's in LA. That's when they signed
that's right,
the rematch.
that's right.
That's the day I was banned. UFC 199.
Dana coming to visit California.
So that clip pissed off Woodley and it pissed off Nate Diaz. It pissed off Woodley because he was like, "No, you did offer." So Dana's saying that someone went off the reservation. The guy who went off the reservation, the lawyer, by the way, and actually someone wrote me an email that term is offensive. That you shouldn't even be using that term anymore. So anyway, the lawyer that he's talking about is the general counsel of the UFC, Hunter Campbell. He's a very, very powerful man in the organization. He's not just some willy-nilly like intern who's going to go out there and just offer fights for the sake of offering fights. There was an offer. They couldn't come to terms due to financial, issues or whatever the case may be. And that pissed off Woodley, and Woodley called him delusional Dana. And then you get this tweet from Nate Diaz. But there was a fight, and I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not necessarily like, of all the things that Dana has said about Tyron, this wasn't really the worst, so to speak. Like, he didn't actually like insult him. And I don't know why you would even want to walk it back at this point. Like, hey, you tried to make the fight, it didn't come to fruition, it didn't happen, big deal.
More importantly, though, enough with this guy's lying. Let's fight. Let's see a fight. I want to see Nate Diaz fight.
Yeah.
I want to see Tyron Woodley fight.
Well, now Woodley. Okay, well then Woodley said he's going to have
the surgery.
But now on Saturday he spoke to us and he says he's rethinking the surgery and he's going to take 7 days to figure it out. So we'll see what happens. Colby Covington texted me in the middle of the show. Let's see what he said. Oh, okay.
That was quick.
Well, he said I have a T-shirt that I want to send you.
Huh.
So
shout out.
Something tells me it has something to do with either Tyron Woodley or Filthy Animals or something. Anyhow.
Live the gimmick.
It's always fun. You see, what's interesting? On Sunday, I said, where are the Dana White scrums? We missed those. And then he does one. Do you think that was directly related to me asking that question? He even addressed the fight fixing. Now, I thought that the response was a little strange because he was essentially like, well, if you're going to do it, if you're going to go big, go big. If you're going to try to fix a fight, fix a fight. He didn't unequivocally say, don't ever do this, black or white. I don't care if you're Conor or this person or that person or Angela Magana. Don't try to fix a fight. It wasn't quite that, but it was better than nothing. It was nice. Warmed my heart. Missed it.
Our next clip from the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, man.
We missed the beginning. We'll wait for it to roll back, but...
Wait, someone asked him?
Wait, did you not see this
No.
one? Oh, my Lord.
Start it over.
It's going to start over here.
I'm about to sign that. Hold on.
Asked him to sign.
I'm about to sign that, and then I'm about to pose as Ben Henderson. Wait, hold on. Because...
And then he shows him that it's
Oh, my God.
him right there underneath.
Holy crap. The guy had a Kevin Lee and just messed
He
up?
had the Kevin Lee. He had the Kevin Lee and thought he was Benson Henderson.
I'm about to
Shout
sign
out to Kevin Lee for being such a good sport. That is so
Wow.
funny. I love this. I love this.
That was in Detroit.
And he signed, and you can see he signed it, his real signature
Yeah.
and MTP, Motown Phenom. I love that. Kevin Lee laughing it off. That's pretty
He
good.
was in great spirits when we saw him on Saturday and said that he's starting to get that itch again and that he's going to stick around at 155. That's the plan right now. But there's some interesting things going on with that gym because his head coach at Extreme Couture left, Robert Follis. So he might bounce around and work with some other people, work more with the PI. I got to say, the PI, it's getting, rave reviews. You heard Sajara Eubanks talk about it. Francis Ngannou lives there. Kevin Lee has talked about it. A bunch of other fighters. So I had my doubts, but the fighters are loving it. So kudos to them.
Yeah, the ones that are taking advantage of it seems to be paying dividends. Okay. Here we have a video from Fight Week from Ariel Helwani.
Yes. You're going to play?
To the Karate Hottie.
Wow. Oh,
It's,
yes.
it's a lengthy video. People go find it on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel or on MMAFighting.com. But the most important part, do you know what the most important part
I
of that
do
is?
recall.
Maybe you say?
Oh, wait, you don't have the clip? I thought this was like you teeing up the clip.
No,
Jeez
well, look,
Louise.
again, I don't want to play the whole,
Wait, the
it's a
clip.
long video. No.
Oh, my God.
If they had clipped that specific
You
section,
could have clipped it yourself.
no, but that's not how this works. That's not how this
because you have
this
to-
system
well, I mean,
works. It has to be on social somewhere.
Yeah, but you could jump off. You could say, hey, Nick, play this clip. I mean, geez, Louise. You call yourself a producer, for God's sakes.
Anyway, point being,
Yes.
Ariel finally
Yes.
asked Michelle Watterson
I finally
about the
referenced
challenge.
you. It's like you only live in my life on a
forget that.
Monday.
I don't care.
I finally referenced you outside of Monday.
Don't care about that.
Oh, sure.
Don't
you
ca- couldn't care less.
Sure you don't.
Couldn't care less. But what I wish, what I hope, and maybe we do this next time,
Okay.
in my hope of hope, dream of dreams,
Yes.
do an entire interview about the challenge. Let's talk. Let's really break it
I can
down.
think
Let's
of
have her
nothing
here.
more boring than that.
You know what? You just tag me in. I'll come in and we'll talk to Michelle. We'll talk to CM Punk about their experience on the challenge. Nothing more important this week than this interview that Ariel did with Michelle talking about the challenge. Go find it. And maybe I got reference. I don't know. It's possible. But the challenge. Love it. Shout out to Michelle Watterson.
She's still in it?
She's still in it. It's only been 2 weeks so far. So she's still in it. Seems to be a valuable team member for the for the pros. So keep watching. Okay. We're sticking in outside the sport of MMA specifically, but here we see Bill Walton.
What?
Getting his mixed martial arts game on. Look at this.
It's amazing.
You can't be serious. Are you kidding me, Dave?
Using his taglines.
Do you? Come on, yeah.
I love Bill Walton.
Big Bill Walton, flexing, doing it in the gym. And we also have a second clip. Here we go.
Put your hip into it,
Also from the world of basketball.
Right Boom, and just release that thing.
Training some martial arts from the Miami Heat.
And you're not holding your thumb out like you're drinking tea.
Oh, my bad.
I think this is part of their like internal video promotional
James
stuff.
Johnson.
This is stat.
And James Johnson, the UFC retweeted this. This is how I came across this. James Johnson, a martial artist himself.
Oh yes.
So here, getting
his
into
his
with the
dad. They actually played the Knicks last week. Knicks beat him, and they were talking about how his dad is like a 6-time kickboxing champion.
Yeah, and James himself,
Yes.
kind of still training.
Yeah.
So here we see the Miami
That's
Heat getting
cool.
into it.
That's cool.
Here,
Oh, great. I'm happy you
a
picked
heart
this one.
warmer. And we'll show two things from this. This one's from Diego Sanchez's Instagram. The story here, and we'll see two people in the cage here once this kind of gets clear. Diego Sanchez here is falling down at the moment. And Isaac Marquez, a.k.a. the Shermanator. This is an exhibition match from one of the Jackson Wink fight events. Isaac, born with Down syndrome, recently kind of getting into training, Diego being his trainer and his coach, dreaming of being an MMA fighter. And Diego and the team over there in New Mexico was able to make it happen for him. Here we're going to see the finish of the fight, which is what Diego posted on his Instagram. Right here, locking up. And Diego taps. Isaac getting his win and about to celebrate here. Really like just a good thing done by a good person in Diego Sanchez.
And kudos to
this
the
image
UFC
here.
for allowing Diego to be a part of this. He had to get permission, I'm told.
Yeah, I mean, even more. Nobody's ever doubted Diego's heart on full display here. Getting it done for Isaac, the Shermanator Marquez.
Amazing.
Just incredible stuff. There's tons more. Find it on Diego's Instagram. Find it in local New Mexico media. The local TV station did a piece on it as well. But, you know, what else do you need to say about Diego? Champ.
Legend.
And we're going to, I think this is the end, or maybe a few more. Gogo Plata from the event called MFP 214 in Russia. Grigory Popov submitting Daeyu Wang. We're going to see a Gogo Plata, rare. But what's more incredible about this is his second career Gogo Plata. I was checking his Sherdog record, and I saw a Gogo Plata on there, and I thought, oh, is this an old clip? No, it turns out Sherdog just hadn't updated his record yet, but this is his second career Gogo Plata.
Damn.
So Grigory Popov getting it done, now moving to 12-1. Could be somebody to watch out for on the submission team.
Hell yeah.
Fight announcement
there it is.
that everybody's excited for. Jeremy Stevens versus Duo Choi,
The
Korean Superboy. Very soon, January 14th.
coming up.
Right around the corner. Tickets on sale this Friday? This Friday.
Look at you with the ticket plug.
It's on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, I cheated a little bit, but I'm stoked for this fight. I think everybody, once it was announced, got hyped for this one. I'm expecting fireworks. Another tweet from you.
Oh.
Look, I mean,
Wow.
I'll just keep scratching your back.
Yeah.
Here. I thought this one was interesting because we saw from you posting this picture of Emil Mech getting his visa,
Yes.
but this fight still seems to kind of be
I don't think it's happening
in
at
the air.
this point.
And now it seems, Usman saying he's moving on.
Yep.
Mech kind of not knowing where he stands.
I feel for Mech.
He got it done. It's just that it took a while to get this visa. And now
Hopefully they keep him on the card against maybe someone else. But I certainly feel for him. We saw Kamaru Usman at 218, and he was very much under the weather, still there. But it seemed like it being up in the air, he didn't know whether or not to commit to training or not. So I don't know. It didn't seem on Saturday like it's happening. No update as of right now, but at least he got his visa, so he doesn't have to be held back anymore. I was very happy to see that. Just days after he was on this program. Congratulations.
I think this is the last one now. Just interesting tattoo work from Matt Brown here.
Oh.
13 KOs, 13th skull. Still room for more skulls. Seems like the retirement was a little premature. But how about Matt Brown getting a skull every time he gets a knockout? That's pretty badass.
Damn.
Reminds me, Alexander Gustafsson gets triangles.
Yep. No, he gets, aren't they spades? No, are they triangles?
Are they spades? I think it is triangles.
Yeah,
and I think he might get, I think he has the spade tattoo.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But he gets triangles either filled in for wins or hollow for losses. Matt Brown taking that up a notch, getting a skull for every victim of a Matt Brown knockout. 13th there pictured, possibly more to come. And that's it for
All right.
this week.
Now we got some questions to answer.
We do.
You've got questions. We got answers.
And we will start how we always start.
Okay.
With Ariel Helwani's first question of the week. Of the week, although you called it of the day, but same difference because we only do the show once a week. If the UFC books Miocic versus Ngannou next, who wins? I pick Miocic. You will abstain as usual, but I will read the results. 14,370 people voted at this moment. Ngannou, 59%, Miocic 41%. And this speaks to what I was talking about. I would not be surprised if Ngannou was the favorite leading into this fight. Public perception does influence betting lines. So the champion may be looking at being an underdog in that fight. But I would think that I'm at this moment I'm favoring Stipe to get it done.
Wow.
But it's an interesting thing. 60% of people believe that a champ who's proven himself now at heavyweight for a minute would be upset by the contender. But I think it's clear that there's great interest in this fight when the heavyweight division has needed this for a long time.
Yep.
Question number 2 from Ariel. Is it time to book Alvarez versus Poirier?
Yes. What did the people say?
10,000 votes.
Yes.
79% yes. 21% no.
Okay. That seems pretty definitive.
I'm all over this fight. I think we need to see a definitive conclusion for it.
Has to happen.
The momentum seemed to be swinging toward Eddie, but it seemed like he was in super big trouble early against Poirier. I love that fight. I don't think of it as a step down. I think those are two really, really high-level contenders. Would love to see this.
Was it a mistake to book Gaethje versus Alvarez? Was it too big of a step up for Justin Gaethje?
No.
Massive step up. Johnson to Alvarez, WSOF to Alvarez. It was a big step up.
I think what happened there was Gaethje met somebody who was able to weather his storm. Typically what happens is, Gaethje's landing those leg kicks. He's walking forward. He's able to absorb everything you can throw at him, and that will wear another fighter down, and he will continue to plod forward and throw haymakers. Eddie was able to take him. His face, obviously worse for wear. He took some shots in that fight that would have felled other people. Eddie was able to handle that and deliver his own damage, including that incredible knee. Now, it's important to note that Eddie was up in that fight on the scorecards. So I'm not trying to say that it was a comeback or anything like that, but Eddie had to go through some tribulations. He had to take some damage to be able to do it, which is what Gaethje's going to always kind of do. He's going to put people in trouble. But he met somebody who was able to take that and dish it back. So I don't think it was too high a step up. I just think Eddie Alvarez is a fantastic fighter. Still at the upper echelon of this division.
Greatest lightweight of all time? That's what people are saying now. He beat this champ, that champ.
I was making that argument before the Conor fight, and it's hard for me to go back on it. Just resume-wise, I would have to say that he's probably the best lightweight of all time. Where it gets dicey is asking, was he ever the number one lightweight? Was he ever the best guy in any given moment? The resume, the longevity, it's hard to argue with Eddie's resume. it's hard to look at that complete skill set, that complete resume on paper and go, there's somebody better at lightweight. But did he burn the brightest at any one given moment? And that is a question that I don't know the answer to. You'd have to go back every single year and kind of say, was BJ Penn the best guy at this moment? Was Michael Chandler better than Eddie when he was on top? Was whoever was was Benson Henderson? It's hard to weigh that out because Eddie wasn't in the UFC at that time. So you're always making a comparison to those guys, even within Bellator. Chandler, you're making the comparison to. So I would say yes, but I don't know if he was ever number one. He probably was. There were probably some years that you could go back and point to that he was number one. But when we think of these all-time greats and we think of the best ever in a division, it's typically somebody who you can point to and go, that guy was the best at this given moment in time.
Because
They were
you're
the
taking
guy.
a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this there.
You have to look at his complete picture, and I think that one tells the story of the best lightweight.
I still feel like BJ Penn, that era, like the Diego, Sean Shirk.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough. That's what makes it tough because you have to look at that and go, was Eddie better than BJ? And we don't know the answer.
Yeah.
That's what makes it tough. But it's hard to argue in totality. When you look at that, it's hard to argue against Eddie. Okay. Which is the one you want to see more now? Gun to your head, McGregor Holloway or Diaz McGregor?
Where's Ferguson at?
It's a good question. Is that in play? Would you want to see that over
McGregor Holloway at 155? I want to see Holloway, Edgar, McGregor, Ferguson.
Wow. So you're picking neither. No Diaz, no Holloway for McGregor. You're picking Ferguson. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. I'd rather see Holloway at 45 than 55.
Yeah, I want to see Holloway fight Edgar.
But
now, let's see what happens between Brian Ortega and Cub Swanson. If Ortega wins, that changes things. But, we're starting to get to the point where you can make the case that Holloway is on the verge, if he beats Edgar, of cleaning out the division. On the verge. If Swanson beats Ortega, who else is there?
Yeah, but
you fight them again?
Does that mean that McGregor cleared out the division because he beat Holloway a few years ago? That doesn't hold water for me. There's guys that I would see Holloway fight again.
Cardallamas? He fought it.
Absolutely.
That wasn't that long ago.
Sure.
It wasn't as long as the
Okay, hold on.
The Max Holloway fight in 2013.
Hold on. Let's look this up. Cub Swanson, Ricardo Lamas.
Okay, wait. I'm just throwing something out there.
Yep.
Let's say Cub Swanson wins on Saturday. And then let's say he signs with Bellator.
Yeah.
So he's out of the picture and Ortega just lost. And let's say Max Holloway beats Frankie Edgar. Who does he fight?
I think you need to build up a contender at that point.
Yeah.
You need to have somebody like an Ortega take the jump. You need to have somebody.
But he just lost.
I know, but I'm saying you have to, at that point, it comes down to, also, let's not act like you can't get a title shot off a loss.
I know, but I mean,
circumstances
it's one thing for Miesha Tate to get a title shot off a loss. It's nothing for Brian Ortega to get a title shot off a loss.
No, but maybe it's not Ortega, but maybe it's Lamas, or maybe it's, somebody who's also in the flyweight division at the moment, and maybe they lost one or.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's Jeremy Stevens or something.
Yes, Stevens or Duo Choi.
I'm saying the fact that we're having this conversation, you can't necessarily have this conversation in the heavyweight division, another division. Anyway, it's a stupid conversation because so much can happen. I don't even know how we got into this portion. Oh, the question. It has to be, Conor is a lightweight champion right now, so he has to fight the interim lightweight champion. There's a great number one contender for Max Holloway, and that's who I want to see him fight. Okay.
Yeah. But I'd be okay with Lamas. I'd be okay with...
Lamas over Edgar?
Edgar is, in my mind, the next in line, but I'd be okay with that fight.
Fresh, bro. Come on.
Yeah. The reality is featherweight would need somebody to jump up if that was the case. If it wasn't Cub, if it wasn't Frankie, you're looking at, Stevens, Elkins, Yair, Duo Choi, the bottom half of that top 10.
Right.
Okay. How do you feel about this?
Okay.
Matthew, not a fan of it. Max's catchphrase, it is what it is. How do we feel about this as Max latching onto this and becoming his catchphrase?
Well, I think he's being somewhat ironic with it. I mean, like, I think he was called out for using it so much, so now he just kind of plays it up. It's, to me, it's more self-deprecating than like an actual catchphrase. I don't really think we need to put too much stock into it. I just think he's a fun personality.
That's what
someone found a flaw in his interviews, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll just play this up." And by the way, the tweet with "it is what it is" when Aldo, came in as the replacement was perfect. Does it work every time? Maybe not, but I don't know. I just like everything about him right now. The cupcakes, his son, self-deprecating. It's just fun to be around him. It's fun to cover his fights. He's a great fighter. He's a phenomenal fighter. He did that twice to Jose Aldo. If that's the big beef with him, then let it be the big beef.
I just think he's able to kind of turn anything fun.
Yeah, it's fine.
He can turn it around. Jesse Levine saying Zabit. Zabit is coming.
Oh, Zabit is coming. And by the way, don't forget who was first talking about Zabit.
And also, let's not forget that Chad Mendes will be back. Another featherweight contender.
Sure, fair. That's what I said. No, I didn't want to go down that road. Don't make me go. I don't like those.
No, but you like that. You had done this with Conor. He cleared out the division. He cleared out the division.
One was true.
Holloway was there the whole time. And I had been saying that. If we go back to the tape, Holloway was the guy, and I've been calling for that. Okay. What did you think of Herb Dean giving a warning to David Tamer for stepping backwards? It seemed like that fight was kind of marred a little bit by the inactivity.
Yeah, I'll say I was disappointed. I had big, lofty expectations for that fight, and I don't think that they were met. Is that fair?
It was two prospects. I was hoping for something there, but yeah, it was a little lackluster. But it's also Tamer's style is to be on that counter, and Close was trying to bring it, but he just didn't have enough.
He also injured his foot. He told us afterwards, Tamer did. What did I think about it? I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the warning it's just a warning.
Yeah. I think there was more egregious things happening that evening. The unfortunate stoppage earlier. But I'm always okay with kind of stepping in. At least it's a warning. We need to see more warnings, to be honest. So
the right kind of warnings, like when someone grabs the fence 4 times, you don't need to warn them again.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A warning for that, hey guys, I'm cool with that.
Okay, we saw a season of Tough go by.
Yeah. One of my favorite seasons.
Anything to spice up Tough? Did this actually, so if this was one of your favorites, did this actually go?
Sarcastic.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. So still, I mean, as far as Tough, I've been said I'm out.
No.
Is there anything left to do?
There's going to be another Tough. They're doing the undefeated season, which good luck finding, actual undefeated prospects out there who aren't,
already
1-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of those out there. They're going to do that. They'll probably do one more. So they'll do that one that will probably air in January or so and culminate in April, and then they'll do the other one in September that will culminate in December, like the one that just happened. And then it's the TV deal. And so is this a part of the package? The new,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So we're getting at least 2 more. And then we'll see what happens. Do I personally think they need to take a break? Yes. I don't think that looking for a fight still a thing?
It is.
Have they found anyone off that? I see like a commercial with John Vellante and Matt Serra, but like I don't see any fights or fighters coming out of it. The Contender Series really is the next best thing to find.
Right, we saw Sean O'Malley.
What did you think of his performance? Did you see it, by the way?
I did, yeah.
It seemed like it was good early. Then he kind of to me, the big takeaway was, okay, let's just kind of slow our roll. But he did overcome some adversity where it seemed like maybe he was going to lose this one.
He did, and I think we have to remember that some of these fighters coming off the series, the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, are not finished product. These are young guys getting an opportunity. In some cases, you know what? Let me backtrack on that. It's not always young guys, but these are guys who were not able to get into the UFC through the front door and had to use the back door. And in this case, we're not always going to see, a finished product. It's going to take some time. Sean O'Malley getting it done, overcoming the adversity. So as long as he's not rushed into anything, I thought it was a fine performance. But essentially, tough is tough.
By the way, with regards to Rick's picks, 2 things. How do you not pick any time bomb Fedor bobblehead tweets?
Listen, I want to give a little air to breathe on the bobblehead thing.
It's like it was a great series.
It was
of
great
tweets.
promo. It was great promo.
But just because she lost?
Look, I want to be sensitive to
what? Sensitive, but we can make fun of Eddie Alvarez's concussed face.
That's first of all, Eddie won.
Hematoma.
Eddie won, but that's not. You know what? Justin came back during the show and said, Mark Henry retweeted it. Eddie liked it.
What happened to Time Bomb? Were you there?
I was there.
What happened?
Tiffany lost to Anissa. I thought it was a close fight, and clearly like two of the best in that weight class. Anissa very good. It was a great performance. It was a great night.
Was it a mistake to
at
book her?
MSG. No, look, these are the top fighters that's going to happen at this level. Tiffany herself would want that fight. This was an opponent she would want. I don't think you can avoid the top fighters, and she never has. And in this case, she met someone who beat her, and I'm sure she'll be back. There's no doubt about it. A stumble, and I have a feeling we'll see Anissa versus Tiffany Van Soest again. But congrats to Anissa Mexen.
And how do you not pick Paul Felder's Peppa Pig mouthpiece? I mean, that was incredible.
That was an oversight.
Oh my!
You know what?
God.
I saw that and I forgot.
Actually made me tear up.
I don't know enough about Peppa Pig, so it didn't.
You're about to.
When I was scrolled through the timeline, I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting one," but it didn't stick enough.
God, the Peppa Pig.
You love that Peppa Pig.
Incredible. What a great show. But he had a mouthpiece with his daughter's name on it, Aisling, and Daddy Pig and Peppa Pig on it. It was amazing. I loved it. And then he comes to the back and he's talking to us about it, and CM Punk is there and he tries to sit down.
Right, and he fell.
And he totally wiped out.
Yeah.
CM Punk, by the way, looking very svelte. Yeah.
Maybe lower?
I don't know about lower, but just looked to be in very good shape.
Okay. Do we talk about this Detroit Free Press thing? Everybody looking for feelings on it?
You know what? I don't give an F. It's like, how many times are we going to go through this? It's like every few months, and it's been a while since we had one of these. UFC goes to a place for the first time in a long time, or first time. Some guy, some, schlubby columnist for the local paper sits down and writes this piece that's completely uneducated, no research. I mean, just so off base. I mean, how about, now you're going to make me talk about it, but how about the fact that the last time they were in Detroit or the Detroit area, the card was nowhere near as good as this one. Didn't even have a title fight. And
it was
this guy's talking about Detroit like it's like, the number one metropolis of the United States. Like, if you're going to come to Detroit, you better come with 8 title fights or don't come at all. And come with Ronda and come with Conor and come with Ronda fighting Conor. I mean, but then like everyone just like comes out with their, with their tweet, how they're going to defend MMA's honor. Like, I don't give a fuck about this guy. I really don't. I don't give a F about what you think about MMA. I don't care about you liking MMA. And the best part is like the UFC, the UFC bended backwards for this guy. Like,
to accommodate somebody who's
Dana
a new
White,
writer.
They gave him this, they gave him that, and then he goes and he shits all over it. And he doesn't even, no research whatsoever. No
clearly.
understanding. I went and looked at some of his tweets. Like, it's almost like someone just forced him to go. Like his editor said, "Oh, you should go to this."
The responsibility has to kind of be on the paper at that point. Like, if it's just seemed lazy. I agree with you. I don't really give an F about what this guy is saying.
I mean, the editing was even crap. Like
Ronda is misspelled.
Come on. How do you misspell that at this point?
Spelled the way of internet trolls.
How do you misspell that? Maybe that was our sign.
Look, I think what's important though is that, and I think the people who get up in arms about it are saying like, this is a reputable paper. This is an outlet that is looked to for information, and this kind of lazy, uneducated view was put out there, and
it was a great card. Like if it was like a so-so card, like let's say it was 215 and it ended on a crappy note, like all right, fine, you weren't impressed. But what are you talking about?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Just didn't know what he was.
Actually, I thought Rogan's tweet was the funniest, saying it was like some internet nerd saying that a supermodel isn't hot.
Yeah. That's
who cares?
You just don't know. You don't have the frame of reference, and
get out of here. Why do we care about this? Why do we care about this? Why did someone?
We'll move on.
Someone ask a question about it?
Yeah, 2 people.
What?
More than 2 people.
What?
Look, people want to know. They just want to. What did you think? What did you think about the Detroit Free Press?
Like, okay, so tomorrow, ask me what I thought about the Detroit Free Press take. Like, what is the Detroit Free Press? It's a local newspaper. Great. What do I care? How does this affect me? They don't care what I think about the Lions. They don't care what I think about the Detroit Tigers or the Pistons. I don't give a crap about what you think about MMA.
Well, if you went to a Lions game,
trust me,
and were credentialed,
they would not give a crap about what I thought about that game.
Spitting the hot takes.
I would not. I mean, but think of it that way.
It'd be funny.
Think of it that way.
I actually would like to see an article done.
I'd run circles around
in the reverse, where somebody was talking about why aren't there 2 footballs on the field? Just something completely uneducated, not really looking at it with the right perspective, have no knowledge of the game.
The best was like, if you're gonna come to Detroit, I mean, if you're gonna
here's the celebrities you need. Here's the fighters you need.
Listen,
here's how many title
Kid Rock wasn't there. You know, it wasn't good. Kid Rock and Eminem didn't show up. I mean, like Eminem could be in freaking, I don't know where, on a tour. Who knows? Like, what the hell do you know?
Yeah.
But the best is like, I mean, what can we compare? Like, with all due respect, Detroit, fine city, not exactly my top 10 favorite. You know what I mean? It's going through some transition right now. They went through some hard times. They built the new arena. By the way, I'll say I'll say this about Detroit. The way they have the arenas laid out is the best I've ever seen. No, this is a compliment.
Yeah, everybody was raving about that arena.
Not
right?
just the actual arena. Which
you're talking about all the arenas.
The arena is beautiful. The arena is up there with one of the best new ones. I mean, T-Mobile wishes it was the Little Caesars arena.
Right.
I mean, T-Mobile can't even hold Little Caesars, breadstick, if you get what I'm saying. The breadsticks, Little Caesars. They actually gave us stuffed crust pizza at the end of the night. It was good.
Wow.
It was good. But listen.
I'm in for stuffed crust.
Ford Field, home of the Lions. Comerica Park, home of the Tigers. Little Caesars, home of the Pistons and Red Wings. All within like a block of each other. Like they're next door neighbors. It's brilliant.
Love when cities do that.
It's brilliant what they did. But, you walk around and, it's clear that it reminded me a little bit of Cleveland, but Cleveland seems like it's a little bit ahead of Detroit. I actually went to Giordano's, a pizza place, which is a Chicago pizza place with the deep dish, and like there's different sizes. You go. I was craving pizza on Saturday afternoon, and there's
you were craving pizza,
craving it
and you were going to a place called Little Caesars.
But I didn't know, and then they only gave it to us at the end of the night. They had they had personal, small, medium, large. Personal is what you get if you're alone. Small is what you get if you're 2 to 3 people, they said. I got a small. I put pineapple and green olives, and I ate 5 of the 6 slices. And then the waitress came back and said, "Holy crap, I've never seen so many slices consumed by one person." She was impressed. I was sweating. But I could have gone with the 6, but mentally I didn't want to do it because then I think like I have like...
I would like to see a Detroit Free Press article on this, on your meal at Giordano.
There's something about pizza I just can't stop. Anyway, I don't know how I got into that.
Well, it sounds like, it sounds like you then at the end of the night you were rewarded with the stuffed crust pizza. I'm jealous. Yeah. So congrats to you. Now, you think but guess what? Our next question was, I just want to show you this. Okay. Asking about the Fedor bobblehead. Of course, we were going to mention the Fedor bobblehead. Okay. Are you crazy?
Okay.
Are you insane?
Okay. Well, I was...
The Fedor bobblehead was going to get up.
Look, her tweets were very creative.
They were
great. Very fun. They were very entertaining. I was sad to see her lose, because we had... I'd love to get the bobblehead back. I'm not lying. I miss it. It just doesn't feel the same. Now we have them.
It's in good hands. Did you see she took it out? She took Fedor. Look, she showed Fedor a time that you could just not show Fedor. I'm sorry to say.
That is true.
She treated Fedor better than you did.
I mean, at the end of the show, they toss him. I'm surprised that these two still have hands. All my toys are broken. These two are still in pretty good shape. So they just toss him away. Yeah, guy's living life. Hopefully he's in San Diego right now, getting some sun.
Tiffany showed Fedor a better time than you could ever show him.
Sure.
So he's in a good place.
All right.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
Will you be watching, you mentioned this, will you be watching Rico versus Jamal Ben Sadiq this Saturday?
It's on Fight Pass.
It's on pay-per-view on UFC.tv.
Well, my friend Jedi Goodman, one of the great names of society.
Longtime fan.
Listen to this lineup. This is Saturday, as far as combat sports is concerned. Oh, he'd even include Glory. Is it Saturday or Friday?
It's Saturday.
So there's UFC, Fresno, Ortega, and Swanson. Yep. There's Bellator, Rafael Carvalho against Alessio Sakara, middleweight title fight. There's Lomachenko.
That's right.
Against Rigondeaux.
Max Holloway and Lomachenko having
and there's freaking Glory.
Yeah. Big fight weekend.
Unbelievable, right?
And Invicta on Friday.
Invicta on Friday, LFA on Friday, 1. Everyone's in action.
Everybody
Are you going
in
to
action.
Invicta?
I'm not. It's hard for the travel team.
I don't blame you.
For,
I would have been shocked if you were going. So to answer your question about Rico,
it's earlier in the day.
Oh, is it?
Well, because it's in Rotterdam.
Yeah.
And so it's going off at 4 p.m. Our time here.
Okay.
The pay-per-view portion. There's going to be a card on Fight Pass before that. There's going to be a card on ESPN before that, just like last time. Big heavyweight fight. I would have loved to be there. I would have loved to be at Invicta. Unfortunately, I'm not, but I'll be at the next one. But I'll be watching and working from.
I'm sad that Gokhan Saki's out.
It's unfortunate.
That was a great fight.
It seems like the replacement fighter is somebody everybody is excited about.
It's not Gokhan the Rebel.
But it's not Gokhan Saki.
I want to see Gokhan in Vegas.
Absolutely. And, yep, that's it. That's it for today.
All right. Thank you very much. Good questions. Right on the button. Look at that. 5:59 and 45 seconds. Thank you, sir. Thank you to everyone in the back. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who sent us questions. It has been a fun show, but now it is time to say goodbye, my friends. You can hit my music wherever you may be. There we go. Fun day in the books. Fun show in the books. And thankfully, I feel okay. After last week's show, I collapsed. By the time I got home, I felt like someone was hitting my head with a sledgehammer. It was horrible. But I think I made it. Finally. It's been 3 weeks. But I think I have survived. What a fun weekend in Detroit. Beautiful city, by the way. If you've never been to Detroit, I highly recommend it. One of the great cities. Columnists, not so great. Sports towns, fantastic. And by the way, someone asked me about, well, I mentioned the empty seats in the arena, and then someone told me afterwards that the arena is so new and there's so many restaurants, the layout is fantastic, that a lot of people are out and about checking out the arena, taking in the bar, restaurant scene, and so that's why there were some empty seats. So do not fret. Anyway, want to thank everyone who stopped by today. Thank you very much to Dustin Poirier. Thank you very much to Luke Rockhold. Good luck getting the fights that you are looking for. Thank you very much to Brett Johns, Pride of Wales. Thank you very much to Roxanne Modafferi for stopping by. Keep your chin up. Thank you very much to Volkan Uzdemir. Appreciate his time as well. Thank you very much to Sajara Eubanks for coming in studio. That was a lot of fun. Great to catch up with her and learn more about her career. And obviously, happy to hear that she is feeling better. Thank you very much to Valentina Shevchenko. Is she the future flyweight champion of the UFC as far as the women's division is concerned? We'll see about that. And of course, thank you very much to the great Max Holloway. Thank you for being you, and congratulations on your 12th straight victory. How about that? Back next week, same time and place. Until I say peace. I'm out of here.